educators and consultants. Welcome to the last video of this three-part series on coming aboard as an educational consultant. In this particular video, this one is what I call the fun video. This is the one where I show you exactly the 3 steps that you need in order to start working as an educational consultant using the consultant directory service that we offer. If you haven't seen the first 2 videos in the series, the first one is an introduction to us as a company, Teacher's Craft, a little bit about our product, the consultant directory service that we use in order to work through as an educational consultant. And also in the second video, I also cover the idea of how you are already working as an educational consultant in your work settings for most of you. And so it's just an idea of just getting used to so that you can go ahead and start working as an educational consultant privately in the community. So don't forget to check out those videos because they're really a good background for what we're going to be doing here. So without much ado, let's get started, and I'll show you exactly what we need to do in order to kickstart our new career as an educational consultant. Here we go. Okay, here's our first step. First thing we got to do is brainstorm. All right, and what I mean by brainstorm is that this is one of those things in our first step, which is really one of the most important things to start off with. You have to choose a service type. Are you going to do consulting? Are you going to be a mentor or coaching? Are you going to do some tutoring? Or are you going to be out there as a skill freelancer? If you're going to be consulting, then you're going to need to specialize in a specific area. Now, what I mean by specialization is it means basically that you're going to need to specialize yourself. And remember, and this is important to keep it simple and very easy for yourself, at least when you're first starting out. If you already have experience as a consultant, then you already pretty much know the ropes and you already know what to do. You can pretty much skip this step. But what you're going to need to do here in this particular case is to really think long and hard about what kind of consulting you're going to be doing. Is it going to be in line with school choice, helping parents and community people in the community, helping their children with school choice, with writing grants? Are you going to be doing things like special services with special needs? Are you going to be helping parents with their everyday needs with their with their children's schools, interpreting tests, analyzing data? A lot of this information revolves around children and their schools, and you're going to be helping a lot of family members with that. Also, you can also help businesses and organizations with their needs, whether it be, for example, setting up instructional programs or instructional design, doing professional development, public speaking roles, those kinds of things. With mentoring and coaching, you can opt to be a mentor or a coach to a teacher or a consultant themselves. You can get on to consultant directory service and perform those services as well. With teacher mentoring, for example, that's really important in schools, especially for teachers who are still kind of learning the ropes in their schools. And you can serve as their mentor for a year or two. And with coaching, you can also get on the CDS in order to coach some of our consultants as well. And some of our consultants that just have a few rough spots you need to smooth over with them. You can also go in for the traditional tutoring. If you choose to be as a service type, if you want to be a tutor, you can still do that too. And you can still find plenty of clients for tutoring help of all kinds, whether it's testing preparations, ACT, SAT type tutoring, or if you want to do the traditional K through 12 subject tutoring as well. And then lastly, you have the skill freelancing. If you want to do skill freelancing, like for example, you have a particular skill, whether it's a software skill or some type of a hobby or some type of other type of ability that you can freelance, even project development of any kind, you can do that as well. Okay, so that's something you need to think about and to specialize because that's your takeoff point. That's where you're going to basically be launching yourself from there. And like I said, I highly recommend that you keep this really simple, especially at the beginning, because once you start to, get a little bit more familiar with how everything works and being able to take care of clients' needs and everything, it just takes a little while at the very beginning. But after you start having the first 3 or 4 or 5 clients under your belt, you'll be fine. You'll get everything taken care of easily. Okay. Now, the other thing you have to decide here is the working in person or remote. Whether you're going to be deciding to work in person, you may need to go to some job sites, or we're going to be working online or virtual. And then who are going to be your clients? Are they going to be families, individuals, or businesses? That's something that you're going to have to make a decision. on in order to get all this stuff squared away and be able to go ahead and start your consulting business. Now, I highly recommend reading my book, The School Choice Matters, and the simple reason for that is there is just a lot of information that I provide in that book that's going to help you get started, and even in the areas of specialization. So if you want like a lot of ideas, I devote an entire index to that book with respect to specialization. So there's all kinds of ideas about how to become a better educational consultant while you're serving the community with your skills. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide now. And here we go to step two. And here in step two, this is your basic consultant and business setup. These are the bare essentials of what you need to start your business and start rolling. And these are just the easy stuff. So you really don't need anything beyond this to just start off. Now, like I said, if you have experience already, then you should be well along. But when it comes to getting started for the first time, these are just your basics. And you're going to need a dedicated cell phone. Google Voice works okay, especially because not only is it free, but also you don't have to really spend any money on any specific hardware or stuff. So you can use that until things start rolling along. You'll need a location or a plan to make visits in person if you're going to be making in-person visits or working in person. If you're going to be working remotely, you're obviously going to need a quiet space or a personal office of some kind so that you can work remotely from there. You'll obviously need a computer with a reliable internet and the right software for whatever kind of work you're going to be doing. Here at the end, you're going to need some basic accounting and management needs. And that basically means that here on the right-hand side, you're going to need a basic bank account in order to receive payments. You're going to also need some e-billing type of software like Intuit. Intuit is pretty straightforward, and that way you can bill your customers for your service. I do not recommend Zelle for your payments because that looks, it's still something it's okay to work with people that you know personally with that, but I wouldn't recommend working with clients on Zelle unless you know them personally. But other than that, I would try to avoid that until you have you've already established yourself with that client with previous work. And then lastly, you have a clear work agreement or contract for clients. Make sure you do all your kind of work with an agreement with your clients and with a write-up. You may want to spend some time, and actually you can use some of the chat GPT or some of the other AI forms to create and edit a little bit of your agreements so that you're working with some clear expectations and guidelines with your clients as well. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide now. Okay, here's our step three. Now, our step three has to do with customer service and growing your network. And folks, this is really important too, because number one, you need to get some client feedback when you work from them. This is a trust economy. So, your work with your clients means a lot, and it also means a lot when it comes to referrals. So always try to get some customer feedback and your client feedback so that you can build on that and build on your reputation online as well. And that's going to bring in a lot more work too for you. You may want to engage in social media and connect that with your client feedback as well. And especially when you're networking, on the next slide there, when you're networking, especially in sites like LinkedIn, you start with LinkedIn and other job sites like that. If you start connecting on social media, you can also network with consultants that are doing other kinds of jobs, and you refer jobs back and forth with other consultants, and that helps a lot because that starts growing your network. And then next thing you know, you're getting clients referred by other consultants, and it works great after a while. It just takes a little while for your network to start growing. You may also want to offer free services as a pro bono, and this is something that I always recommend for my educational consultants to do. Not only is it the right thing to do in many instances for those that can't afford your services, but it goes a long way in many respects. It goes a long way for helping others, giving back to your community, and it's something that even unintentionally many other times it also refers to a lot of work back to you. It's because it's something that people like to feel good when someone it shows a great gesture towards them, especially when it's something that may not take too much of your time and it's something that you can do relatively quickly. And if you can do it, why not? Not even charge for it. Little things like that go a long way. and it's really the right thing to do for others. So that's something you should also consider as well down the road. Okay.